Sure that works. Okay. Okay. All right. So, now I'm not seeing how to get to the next thing, Robin. I just hit the space bar.
Yeah, you should just be able to hit the space bar.
Okay, hang on. It's just sticking on that. And it's doing that.
Oh. Thanks, Zoom. There we go. All right.
Okay, why don't you stay up here?
Okay.
Please stay up here.
There we go.
She was down in the other room. Okay, so before we start, I think both Barbaras, or at least one Barbara is here. Yes, I see Barbara Wiltshire. Okay, can you please unmute and tell us something about your piece?
Barbara Freeby and I both play in Flute Forte in Richmond, Virginia, and we attended the recent Low Flute conference and played this as part of that. We played Chuckaboo by Nicole Chamberlain, and it's Spotted Rocket Publishing. Chuckaboo means friend, and we had a great time doing this.
I wondered what that meant. Okay, it means friend. Okay, so they're in a very large sanctuary, so very resonant space. Okay. Right. So what else can we say about this, Pete? Obviously, when you're in a situation like that, the acoustics can be very helpful. I especially thought the tongue rams worked pretty nicely in that, but it does have other issues. Things get a little too live sometimes, but again, you never know what situation you're going to find yourself in. Okay, the next piece. This one. So this was an attempt I made to have some play-alongs. So we took it at a slower tempo so people could be playing along while they were looking in my book, which is called Alto Times 2, to do this Bach. There are other pieces in this book as well. But anyway, the tempo is on the slow side because this was to help for people to be playing along with. Okay. 1, 2, 1. That stuff. Okay, so so much Baroque music works so well for alto, especially. Bass, okay, a little harder to get the articulation clean, but those Bach canonic sonatas, I mean, they're just a wealth of music there that could be played by two. Mozart even works fine. It doesn't go that high. Mozart even works. Okay, so our next piece is Heather and Rose.
Just me today.
Okay. Am I clicking that? What am I clicking?
You can just click this.
Okay.
Our piece is called Night Blooming by Sonia Leonore Stahl. She wrote it about a cactus that only blooms for a short time. And she wrote it as a late gift for her prom date, Troy Paolo Antonio, who she says she didn't know she was supposed to get a boutonniere. So she wrote him this piece about a night blooming cactus instead. It is from our album we just released a month and a half ago called Unseen Unheard, which you can kind of see here. Ironically, it's hard to see. We just released this. It's the first of its kind to be exclusively alto and bass flute duets. So there are 10 duets on the album, all new within the last 3 years. 6 of them we commissioned together. It does start with another Nicole Chamberlain piece called Vicuña, so definitely check that one out also. But we let Chris kind of pick, and this one is beautiful, and we hope that you'll enjoy. Chris, is it okay if I put into the chat the link where they can purchase?
Sure, absolutely. Or just tell us, or both. Do both things. Yeah, I haven't had time.
It's available on Sonia's website, so I have that link here I'll send to you, and then I'll send you the link for the album. It's also available on streaming, so you can check out the other pieces that are also available for purchase. We'd show you all 10 if we could, but of course just this one, which is from our recital where we released the album.
Okay, so now I just...
Oh, Zoom. Thank you, Zoom.
Okay, so our next piece is by Paige. So tell us something about this piece, Paige.
Well, I'm always asked by people, can you demonstrate the low flutes? And as repertoire continues to be developed, and one of the things that's so wonderful about this International Low Flute Society is that it gets low flutes out there and composers excited about writing for us. So I decided I would make a collection called Short Snippets for All Sizes. They are duets and trios, and this is one of those. I call this my extreme flute duet because piccolo at the very top of the flute family with double contrabass flute at the very bottom of the flute family. But you can do it with two bass flutes, two contras, or have an extreme range, which I like. You use bass or contrabass with it because, double contra is not that common. So they're just great little, another one's a feisty tarantella that has optional castanets with it. And they're just great little encores, or even in flute choir performances, if they want to hear the low flutes, you can just grab some people and put them in. So it's a great way to showcase what low flutes are able to do.
Okay, where can people purchase this?
I am in process of finishing the collection. It should be published next spring or summer by Alry. But in the meantime, if you want a duet or a trio, there's a trio in there as well. Just email me and I can give you details.
Okay, can you put your email address in the chat and then people
Sure.
can grab it? Not everyone knows you as well as some of us.
And then Laura Everts is here on the session too. She's my awesome piccolo player for this video.
Where is she?
Laura, say hi.
Maybe. There she
Is
is.
she
There
unmuted?
you are. Laura, tell us something about the piccolo. What is it like to play with a contrabass? A double
It's
contra?
a double contra.
Yes, and we did this back when everybody was locked down. So we recorded in 2 different places. It was a great time.
Okay, we should all have a double contra player in our neighborhood. Okay, here we go. And yeah. Okay, only in low flutes would we think of doing something like this. Okay, I mean, it's so unique. It is just so unique. And we really want to show off what we can do. And that it's okay for piccolo players to be near us. It's okay. All right. Next piece is Daniela.
And it's gone.
It's got it. There we are. Okay, Robin, she's just click over here now. So Daniela, I want to commend you. This video is just stunning. I would like to
Thank
take
you.
video lessons from you. You're going to see what she did. I'm just totally, when I first saw it, I went, oh my God, yeah, someone can do that. Okay, here we go. Oh, tell us something about this. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So I wrote this piece towards the end of 2022. The music and the title really did kind of represent how I was feeling when I was composing, which was kind of lost. It's on one of my albums called Reverence for the Moment. It's going to be published by Scherzo Editions, but for the moment, if anyone wants the score, I am emailing it to them, and as long as they promised to purchase it once it does come out.
Okay, cool.
I'll put my email in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat. I don't know how she did that. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, that was just amazing to put that together. However, did you have someone else doing the video most of the time? I mean, give us
Yeah,
some.
so this was in a hotel room, and I balanced my phone on the light, and I just kept it there. And then for the close-up shots, I had my now husband, then boyfriend, film it, and we had to be really careful that we wouldn't see him in the reflection of the contra and of the bass, because you could
Yeah.
see him in some of it.
That's just, I've never seen anything quite like that. I think that's just amazing. And a hotel room, you never know where you're going to get to perform. You just don't know. But it worked so well. It just,
Thank
and the
you.
acoustics, I think because you picked to be by the mirror, that of course is a hard surface and would tend to amplify your sound. So that was, I mean, just wow, what a great, what a great video.
Thank you.
Okay. And okay, but the piece itself, the piece itself is so evocative.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. I
I-
almost didn't include it on my album, so I'm glad I love it when people say that to me.
yeah, it just so forlorn. I don't know, those some emotions. Just it's
Oh,
just
great.
incredible. I like the piece too. Your video is also stunning. The piece is also stunning. So wow.
Thanks
Wow.
so much.
Okay. Be still my beating heart. Okay. Next we have Chuckaboo, and this is Jocelyn and Faith. And this is the room that they're in is like you would be in a NFA, meeting room at the convention. That's the sort of situation in which you find yourself many times at the convention is a room where you wish it were bigger. And it's sort of a dry acoustic, and you have to work harder to make it work. Okay, anyway, but we're in these situations so often. Okay, Jocelyn, go ahead and say what you'd like to say about this.
Well, I think it's already been discussed because it's already been played, but it's by Nicole Chamberlain, and Spotted Rocket is her self-publishing company, and so she's got a lot of great music for low flutes and C flutes. This recording was made in a much smaller church than the other one, clearly, and yeah, and we performed it a couple times, and it's interesting. We felt like the acoustics in this one was the best out of where we've performed it, as far as the most clarity. But it is difficult sometimes to get a good recording of the low flutes, and certainly the articulation. Somebody mentioned like the articulations aren't quite as obvious here, and I would agree. And so it's just interesting how much that affects things, and it would be interesting to experiment with like placing your mic in different places and turning the gain up or down to see like how to get it best to work with your space. But this was a good recording overall for this space. Pretty dry, but yeah.
Also, this is Faith here, just wanting to add, we didn't do anything fancy on this particular recording. Like, this is just a video from my phone. So
Yeah.
you never know what you can get with not doing something fancy. And I feel like in the drier or more echoey spaces, phones can actually be good because they're kind of balancing out all the things, not trying to pick up everything actually.
This box.
Ah, I thought especially some of the effects I preferred on this recording for the singing while playing. I think that came off much better than when in the situation where it was so live, which was also on a handheld phone. I mean, we're just doing so much on phones now. It's amazing. Now, Jocelyn is going to be giving a workshop on recording at our festival in March about how to set things up and how to test for this, that, and the other, and where placement and lighting. And I mean, there's so many things that affect your recording and how you do it. And a lot of us just use our phones because you have it. It's there. You don't have to haul equipment in. But anyway, I thought some effects worked better in this situation. I mean, it's a balance. I mean, where is the perfect place? Well, it's a recital hall, but we don't always get those things.
And it's a different thing, like trying to capture live versus like a much more controlled environment, like a recording studio, and like the different things you can do and what you want to do. Because sometimes you want it to be enhanced because you want to publish it in a certain way, and sometimes you want it very clean because you want it to be very representative of a certain space and situation. So it's interesting to see the differences in here, because some of these, I mean, it's so beautifully edited and touched up. I was like, wow, like that is something that you could sell. Whereas this, it's more like we want to sell ourselves, that hopefully somebody will invite us to come play. But I wouldn't, sell this track necessarily because it's not touched up in a certain way.
Right. There are enhancements that one can do, but I don't know how well the phone, you have to put your video file into a different program to do things with it, to add resonance and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, moving on. I just thought it was really interesting, the juxtaposition of these two pieces. One in a situation where it was a huge space and a little bit too live, and another situation, again, very typical for an NFA convention, where it's a little bit on the dry side. And what do you have to do to make it work in those situations? So, okay, we're going next. Where are we? We're here. Charity and Bethany are going to be doing Wild Berries. Let me get to that one. Okay, I have to click over there. I tell you, all these little secret spots. Okay, I think Charity was here. I think I saw Charity. Go ahead and tell us about this. There she is.
Hi, I'm Charity. And my partner Bethany is not here today, but we make up a group called the Jacksonville Flute Duo in Jacksonville, Florida. And I came across this collection of Jeff Warren's just by doing random searches, trying to find really unique duos that we could perform. And what you'll hear today are 2 out of 12 in his collection called Wild Berries. And we've enjoyed these very much. They're I like to describe, like, you'll hear a lot of repetitive things in the alto, and then all of a sudden there's like 2 to 4 measures where it's like, whoa, where did that come from? And you have to be super aware that they're on their way. And they're really, really nicely slid into whatever kind of concert that you have. We do them a lot in like theme type of concerts, like seasonal concerts. You can Fenberry is like a cranberry, so it's easy to talk about, and so we often will do maybe 2 or 3 of them together and just describe each one and then kind of do them almost as like a set in a concert. And you can buy this through a publishing company called Fortin Music.
Oh.
And they're in the UK. And it's cool when you go to their website and you go under Wild Berries, you can actually listen to every one of the Wild Berries recorded by Jeff Warren. So you get exactly what he's wanting in the piece, the speed and everything. And I'll put all of those links into the chat, but they have it for a download option that's under $20, and then you can have it delivered that's just a little over $20. So that's the whole collection. Yeah.
Okay, so that's spelled Forton, if I'm correct, right? Forton is the name of that publisher. Okay, here we go. Okay. What charming pieces. Just charming. Okay, Heather liked that. She's got hearts going by. Okay. Charming. Okay. Anything else you want to say about that, Charity?
Yeah, like the last one, it looks so simple on paper, oh, it's the same thing. It's just eighth notes. So easy. And it was very hard to not rush. And I mean, I could even hear like towards the end, I could hear myself like, oh, I want to go faster. I had to really hold back. And so even in the repetition, it brings a challenge, trying to just keep it steady the whole time. And we've done 6 out of the 12. We've performed them, and each one is so different from the other. So that's why combining them is really, really easy.
Cool. Okay. Our last one. I love this title, Katrina. Tell us about this, Katrina.
Hey, yeah, the title comes from a conversation that I had with another contrabass friend. So she's Spanish, and we were talking about the fact that in Spanish, spiders don't have legs, they have patas. And so when I said that in English spiders have legs, she was imagining the spider wearing all kinds of different shoes. So then we decided that maybe boots would be an appropriate thing for a spider to wear. And then we were sort of imagining the kind of boots. Anyway, the long and short of it is that we needed a contrabass duet to play. And she also plays contrabass. And we were going to the Grulu festival at Eva Kingma's home village. And there was nothing that I could find that was exactly matching what we had in mind. So I just wrote something. And there was a recording of that original first reading through, but the recording wasn't very, the quality wasn't very good. So last week I just went into my practice room and put down this version that I'm going to present to you today. I haven't published it yet. I might, if there's some interest, but if anyone's interested, they can also just email me and I'll send it to them. One little question I'd like to know is, in the original, because my friend Yolanda is a very keen improviser, I didn't write out the solos, but would it be useful? Would people prefer to have written out solos, or are they happy to improvise?
Usually both. I would say both, because there are some people who want to improvise, but many who would much prefer seeing it written on the page. So you could, provide both options.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so and the other thing my friend Yolanda is very keen about, she said, just keep it simple. So that was my premise for writing this piece. Keep it simple.
A simple spider. Okay. All right, here we go.
You wait. No.
When you said, no, and she lost the boot. She had lost the boot.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? And it would sound great on bass as well, but contra is absolutely the instrument for this piece. I mean, that is just so incredible. Okay, I'm gonna look at the chats now. Usually when you do chat, it's over on the side, but then I saw it put it right in the middle of my screen, and yeah, stop share. Okay, where's those chats? Robin is finding the chats for me. There they are. Okay. Yes, there were so many chats. I'm going, oh no, I'm missing something. Anyway, I'm just looking to see if there are any questions on here. Again, I think we had got some great ideas and heard some great pieces and some good playing. I mean, yeah, and good pieces. There's so many people out there writing for us now. It's, yay. That's what we want. So, okay, I'm scrolling through the chats. Yeah, one of your favorites. Yeah, big fan. Yeah, how the articulation. Yes. Contacts. Do contact mics pick up beatboxing differently from regular air mics? I'm assuming that's like a floor mic you're talking about. Especially the percussive effects. I think that the contact mics pick it up better. I mean, if you're closer to the instrument, you're going to get more of that percussive sound. So Jocelyn said, good question. Okay, and I'm just scrolling through the chats. They're all the names of all the berries in Jeff's piece and his website and the publisher. Great. I mean, the more we play their pieces, the more composers are going to want to write for us, right? And we have to, it's a mutually beneficial thing. Right, Dan? Right, Dan?
Well, yeah. And also one of the reasons why I asked about if Katrina's piece was equally fine with a composer to play on the different size instruments is that it's a lot easier to get people to notice it that way, to have publishers, retail stores, because they put categories or labels on it. So if somebody goes to, let's say, any flute dealer website and looks for music for bass flute and something only says contra, and that's why, for instance, the Lieberman 8 pieces, it spells it out on the publication, each one of those. And I've seen in recent years that happening with low instrument solos, because much of the time, it doesn't matter.
But it's true that if you think, okay, this is only for 2 altos, even though you put it on the cover, which I've done, saying it could also be played for this and this, people see the initial listing and they think, that's it. So never mind. And it's challenging to figure out how to get your information out there.
If there's no piano, I mean, the composer has to know it's always could be played, with 2 matching instruments. Phyllis Luck has some music that are trios for any 3 of the same. It's hard to put a wording there that will
Yeah.
be easy to get in search engines.
Absolutely. But anyway, so that's sort of a marketing element, isn't it? Of how you get your music out there and how you connect with the people who would be interested in what you're doing. I have a friend who writes things for 5 pianos. I just was talking to her yesterday, and for 5 pianos, and she was complaining that not enough people were buying her music. And I'm saying, Pat, how many people do things for 5 pianos? Well, it turns out there's the Jackson 5, there is the Brown 5. There are 5 siblings in the Brown family that all play piano, and they go play concerts around. And Pat, you need to contact them. But you know, you limit yourself if things are too specific. I don't know. It's a marketing thing. It's definitely a marketing thing. But you know, when I look at stuff, I'm always thinking, oh, would that work for such and such combination? But not everybody is thinking along those lines. So anyway, yeah, exactly. How many people have access to 5 pianos? You have to have a big stage. I mean, again, and she was wondering why more people were buying her music. Just, well, anyway, but back to us. So it is a marketing thing. And even though you put on this is for 2 contrabasses, or it could also be 2 C flutes. I mean, any 2 that are in the same key, 2 altos, 2 piccolos, 2 E flat flutes, 2. Now, I think it sounds best on contra, though. It definitely has the right atmosphere to it. But anyway, that's all a marketing thing, and trying to figure out what your audience is looking for. What is your audience looking for? And how do you make your stuff accessible? So anyway,
And earlier this year, we were introduced to Tilman Dainhardt's piece for 6 contras. It's a great piece if you can get 6 contras together.
Yeah, I mean, and that's becoming more possible, but only in certain situations, like flute conventions but it's true. I had a hard time. I remember many years ago, the same composer, I asked her to write me a piece for 6 basses, and we could actually rustle up the people, but that was like 25 years ago. But it was tough to get 6 basses together. But it's, we're growing, and there are more and more people with instruments looking for more and more music to play. So, okay. Chris, your cat is huge.
Yeah.
This is Merlin.
Merlin, say hi. No.
He likes to sit on my bass case. Anyway.
Is he an alto cat or a bass cat?
Alto, I think he's a bass cat. Because he sits on my bass case. Yeah. He likes sitting on my bass case. So, anybody else have any more observations or questions? I mean, Dan is works at, he is Presser as far as I'm concerned. He is Presser Publications. Tell us what your title is there, Dan.
My title is Vice President of Publishing, and there are a lot of other people who work there.
I'm sure there are.
and really, I'm not the vice president of the company. I've been there for 40 years, and sometimes, there's a manager, there's a director, and it's like more stripes on your arm. There are other people who are really valuable and all that. Many of you know Jackie, who goes to the NFA conventions. She's the head of the sales department.
Yeah.
And certainly my question has to do with that. If we have a piece coming in for solo C flute, we know some people are going to play it on the lower flutes. If it's for solo contrabass, and it really is a terrific piece that everyone involved in the decision process, sales and marketing people, we might want to say on the publication, I mean, I have a piece of my own for bass clarinet or contralto or contrabass, and it has them all those options on the cover, like with the Lieberman 8 pieces, which he wrote for bass. And what I understand, I once met the woman who commissioned it. One of the fun things about NFA is the big vans that go back and forth from the airport, you run into other people you were going to see anyway, right? And I said, wait, your name sounds familiar. And she said, well, I commissioned Lowell, but I only wanted a bass flute piece. And he said he'd only do it if I could say on the cover,
Mm.
or alto or C flute or piccolo. And if I recall, I don't know, some of you probably know the piece better than I do. Wasn't there an issue with that one piece that goes down to C, so piccolo players need an
Right,
ossia?
right, right. Couldn't do it. Right. Or had to modify it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are lots of flutist composers here on this chat right now. And
Yeah,
how,
talk to Heather. Heather, because Heather sells music. You know, you're in the
yeah,
same kind of
she works
industry
for flute
situation.
specialists. She works for
Yeah.
flute specialists. Um, and can she, when you have a store or a company that's selling flute music, you see what sells and you see what doesn't sell. And you have to figure out, why does this sell and this doesn't sell? And you try to, nudge things in the direction of it will sell if you do this or try this. Or so as composers, those of you who are composers, and again, I compose myself, you have to think about that.
Well,
About
also the websites, I'm going to guess maybe half of the people on this group remember when walk-in stores were more common than
yeah,
shopping online. And for those of us that experienced and golden, the mindset is still there that people will just browse through the flute section using their eyes and their logic and not a single search word that's going to get them to how do you look. And websites, in my opinion, websites that take the time to add extra hashtags or cross list a certain piece in every different category, it's more prep time, but it's also going to get more notice. Pieces like that. Same thing if it's flute or harp, the harp players might want to buy it. And likewise.
and having a recording of the piece is also a big selling point. I mean, it doesn't have to be the whole piece, but a lot of times people want to know, what does this sound like? Because I don't know, is it going to be some atonal piece, or is it going to be whatever it's going to be? What am I looking for? Wedding music? I mean, you want to know what it sounds like, and so. But that's not so easy to do. It's harder to get at. Oh, Jocelyn's going to help us with that, right? Where did Jocelyn go? Of how to record something and have it sound good with minimal equipment. And it doesn't have to be a video, which adds a whole nother component to the issue. But making a good audio recording. Sorry, we got off onto a tangent, but it really does make a difference. But you end up you do things like this so other people can hear your music.
But these recordings on the phone, Daniela, did you use a microphone into your phone, or was it just the phone itself? Because the sound was so rich.
So I was gonna say, but I didn't want to interrupt because I've already spoken so much about the piece. I was miming in that video. I'd already recorded it.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't, I couldn't clone myself, and that wasn't going to be possible. But I actually recorded with a Zoom recorder, a very simple H4, so it wasn't even like two proper mics, and that recording's on an album. So if you have a good acoustics, and sometimes a good acoustic, at least I've been lucky enough to have a very resonant bathroom, and if you're just recording single tracks, that is possible. If you have two bass flutes in there, then I don't know, but I have done a lot of single tracks in my recording where I played the contra and the bass flute part, and then you can just do a lot to it. You can change a lot of things.
Okay, so I knew that you had probably recorded this previously, and that because it's not possible to have recorded it right then. It would not, but that's okay. It was you. It was you. So Jocelyn. I don't know, we're going on. You don't have to stay if you don't want to hear this conversation, but so much of us are doing this sort of thing where we're recording pieces, maybe our own, maybe somebody else's, and just trying to get them out there. And what is the best way to do that? So again, kitchens and bathrooms. are good places. Again, you don't have to show the video. You can do that separately, but you get the resonance that you're looking for, or just looking for hard surfaces like windows. If you're at home, sometimes I want to do something out by a dam, but that's going to be so dead because you're outside. So you would have to record it somewhere inside and then have the video of you playing it outside and sync things up. So, I mean, that's totally legit. I mean, so, but anyway, but Jocelyn is going to answer all of our questions on her workshop in March. So do you have a particular microphone or video setup that you like, Jocelyn?
Yeah, I've purchased an external microphone. I've got like a setup with that. And for video, I just use my phone. I actually I purposely got a phone with a high camera. I kind of made that my priority in purchasing a phone, but didn't care about the audio because I had an external mic. So that's kind of how I approached that.
Okay, so she had an external mic, because I've done that before. I have a digital recorder that's separate from my phone. And
So that same company, the old Zoom before this kind of Zoom that Daniela was referring to with the H4, one of their products
Yes,
is
yes,
a
that is.
microphone that plugs into, I guess, a lightning jack, but it must be many other variants by now. I know that I Goldsmith records that way. She brings her phone, but she has a Zoom mic that plugs into the phone directly.
I also have that, and it's very good.
who was that?
That was Faith.
Ah, Faith. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, we're all smart people, and we want to share what we know. And how do you do that and show yourself off in the best possible way? And it's a learning process. It's definitely a learning curve. But anyway, okay, I think we should wrap this up. This sort of went into something a little bit more than I anticipated, which was just recording audio and video, and how best to do that.
Tell us more about March while everyone's
Oh, thank you, Dan. Dan and Paige are on the board. So in March, it's going to be another online festival like we did 4 years ago, which was really successful. As a board, we got together and decided it was just too financially risky. And as we know, things are kind of chaotic over here. And we figured that many Europeans would probably not want to come, or anybody from any country would not want to come here, given the current situation. I know people in Canada have not come to things because of our current situation. Anyway, we decided to have an online festival. It's the last weekend in March, and there's a proposal form on our website, Low Flutes Festival. Is it .com or .org? .org, lowflutesfestival.org. And we could do something just like this. Oh, Daniela, please submit your video. Please submit your video. And maybe we should have a session with, her talking about how she created that video. I mean, that was just so cool. And a normal person can do that.
Who are you calling normal?
All you need is a hotel room with a mirror, right? Anyway,
and a husband.
We're really trying to cover anything that will help us improve how we present ourselves to the world, I guess. And that covers a lot of bases right there. But we want to bring our community together. Again, there's a proposal form on the website. And please send in. We want workshops. We want performances. We want flute choirs. We want all that stuff. In a chamber group, at least half the flutes have to be a low flute. Okay, so you could have bass clarinet and bass flute. I mean, you whatever, any combinations. And it's nice to have instruments that aren't flutes for a little variety. Harp, guitar, you name it. But it has to all be on video, because live performances tend to have more issues. They have problems. So it's got to be a video, and YouTube is the best. Is that right, Robin? Yeah, YouTube is the best. It's the easiest to make it work. It's going to be a 3-day event. It starts on a Friday, and it goes all day Friday, all day Saturday, and half a day on Sunday. And I'm trying to figure out how to extend earlier in the morning, so people in Istanbul, which is where AJ, she was here a while ago. AJ is in Istanbul, and she has a huge flute choir in Istanbul, Turkey. And anyway, they're very active, and you know, the whole time zone thing. And then we also have people in Japan. I mean, how am I going to make all that work? I don't know. But I'm trying to extend earlier and later, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. But it will be on a Friday, all day Saturday, and half a day on Sunday. And again, we're looking for anything related to low flutes. Support. Somebody has some good ideas about supporting, especially bass flute. But even straight head alto players, that's an issue too, because your arm is way out there. Oh, there's AJ. Wave at us, AJ. So again, she's got this huge group of flute players in Istanbul, Turkey. And I'm hoping that maybe I can work it out that she could host earlier, so I don't have to get up at 4 a.m. She could host earlier. I can't remember how many time zones. You're 8 ahead of us or something like that. 9?
Now it is 8:15 here.
Okay,
Nighttime.
8:15, and it's 10:15 here. Okay, so quite a few time zones ahead of us. And of course, Japan, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning there right now. So I don't know how I'm going to get all that to work, but I need multiple hosts in different time zones somehow. Okay. Any questions about the festival? It's going to be a blast again. And Robin is in charge of making it all work. Thank God it's not me.
I'd like to propose that we take some of our budget and send Robin over to Japan so that we have a board member there.
She would love that. She would love that. Okay, yes. So in 2020, you may recall we were supposed to have it in Japan. Our festival was going to be in Japan. And 3 weeks before the festival was supposed to start, COVID hit, Japan shut down, everything had to be canceled. That was so sad, just so sad. And that was Yuko Hoshi, who got everything organized. Anyway, that's water under the bridge. But yeah, 2 round-trip plane tickets to Tokyo is not cheap. Anyway, anything else anybody wants to add? So again, send in these your duet videos, put them in a proposal, send them in. Maybe, more of them, Heather, not just that one, but a few more of them. So there are time limits. I mean, you can't send in 2 hours worth of something. But you have up to, I think for a soloist, it's up to 15 minutes of music. I can't remember exactly what I said. 15 minutes of music for a solo, and 20 for duos, and 25 for flute choirs, something like that. So, but of course there's talk time in there too. So anyway, all right. Anybody else? Thank you for saying that, Dan.
And sending in just send you a YouTube link. You don't want the
just
videos.
send me a YouTube link. And, and then, because we'll have different people will be evaluating and deciding, yes, we can use this one and this one, maybe not that one, but this one and this one. And it won't be all me. I farm that out to other people. So, and we're going to have workshops. One of the workshops was on arranging and composing for low flutes. I was surprised how popular that topic was. I'd sent out a questionnaire, and that question was people wanted to know about arranging and composing for low flutes. So that's definitely going to be on there, in there somewhere in the mix. Oh, but a big thing, of course, is that Lorna McGee has agreed to be our guest She's principal with the Boston Symphony now, incredible player. So I'm rambling on. I don't know what I'm going on and on. You can leave anytime if you don't want to be here. So there is this incredible concerto by a Finnish composer called Dances with the Winds. And it's 4 movements. There's bass flute in the first and the fourth. The third movement is all alto flute. And so she's going to talk. She played that with the Pittsburgh Symphony last year. And so she's going to talk about that piece. I'm trying to get the recording of her. It's an archival recording of that concert. I'm trying to get permission to share that because it is her performance. But there are other performances online that we could still listen to when she could talk about different things. The second movement is mostly piccolo. So anyway, it's an incredible piece, just stunning. The composer's name is unpronounceable, Rutavara or something like that. I'm sure I'm slaughtering that. But it's called Dances with the Winds. And it's a very cool piece. It's like 20 minutes long. Very nice. Concerto. Okay. I should probably stop talking now. Okay. Again, anybody else have any comments or questions? And you can unmute and ask or whatever or not. Okay. I'm not seeing anybody raising their hand or unmuting. So, okay. We have to call it quits. This is just what happened at our other online festival. Nobody wanted to leave because we did such a good job. That was Mariana. Oh, somebody just entered the waiting room. Okay, well, we'll put them on temporarily. At our festival in 2022, which was online, because that was like near the end of COVID, but still very much in COVID. Mariana and Robin, again, put that together, and nobody wanted to leave on Sunday afternoon. It was great. Usually online stuff is not always so wonderful, but that was. Anyway, okay. I'm going to call it a rehearsal. Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you all later.